we are the second coming. When you hear that term, I know a lot of people will think it's some religious thing or whatever, but it's not that, and that's not why I'm using it. I'm using it to talk about consciousness. Because, see, consciousness is something that we all have, and it is something that develops within us and within our world over time. And I went to look up that saying and when did it begin, and it was actually the 16th century where it was first said in English, I guess, and then but it wasn't really used until the 19th century. Since then, we've taken it though and used it to signify different things. Some religious groups use it to signify certain things, but when we do that, when we give it only to certain people, then we can't do anything. See, the way I think of it and the way I know of it is that we are all existing now. Every single person who exists in the world is creating the world in which we live, because we start to discover that we do that energetically. It's energy. And we all have what I call lower vibrational energy. We've had trauma, we've had all sorts of things. And then we have a lot of things that are within us, our DNA, that we have no memory of. But they may be holding us back, and they may be causing us to contribute to the lower vibrations of our world. So what we do individually and how we cause this second coming to come about is deciding to love who we are. That means moving through all the other things that we've been telling ourselves, the judgments, the criticisms, and all the things we've been placing onto others, all of that. And when you hear about the fifth dimension or the Age of Aquarius, yeah, that's real too, because that's where we are. All of these things can be explained pretty much scientifically. And we know now how our brains work, neuroscience, we have all of that. But then there's this other element that we have to come to, is to understand our importance. Our importance in creating the world, meaning everyone emits energy in a particular way, and it becomes a collective energy. And this is what others have referred to as the collective unconscious. And so when we hold on to that lower vibrational stuff, we can't expect the world to be any different than what we're doing in our own lives. And we know how well we're contributing by how happy we are, by how confident we become in who we are, by how we discover our life purpose and decide to live it, how we decide to prosper and allow abundance to come to it. That's all the same thing. It's your authentic self. But sometimes we don't get there. Now, I know, I didn't tell anybody that I was a mystic, because, see, you don't know who you become until you start living it. But I did something else. I wrote an article to talk about this because I saw there was another war that happened. Now, I had channeled and talked about this years ago, and that was when we had the Iraq war, but people didn't understand what I was talking about. But then I saw the one that happened today, and I thought, I haven't done enough. And that's how I like everyone to think, because we're all doing it. We have something we're meant to do. And it's an individual journey. It's your life purpose, who you are, what you came to bring to the world. And it should cause you to be happy, and it should cause you to become abundant. And you get there when you move through all the other lower vibrational ideas and things you've been telling yourself forever, and then you heal. That's what I'm talking about, because that is the work that I have done for all these years, for more than 35 years. So in the article, you will see that I also wanted to give you a few examples. I talked about Napoleon Hill, because we all know of him and from Think and Grow Rich and all of that, but also Carl Jung. They came up with ideas, they came up with things, and people doubted them. People thought they didn't, not all of it made sense, but now they've become very influential in how we all live our lives now, and they've been gone for a while. And but they also had doubt. We all have that. When we move into the unknown of who we are, we have doubt, and we have trepidation sometimes. And then when the world is moving, because there's a lot of energy happening right now on our planet, and when that is going on, we have friction. Within ourselves, we have fear. Our bodies might be changing. They might be doing, because we're all energetically connected. And so then what happens if we don't elevate our consciousness? We can expect to see more wars, because people don't come to understand how valuable they are. And then they think they don't have what they need, and they've got to take it from someone else. All of this is very logical for us to think about. But the last thing that we come to sometimes is understanding our individual importance in accomplishing the next goal. And it is about becoming happy. It's about loving who you are. It's about having that great career. And so when I talked about my work 3 years ago now, it was because I shifted everything in my life because I knew what was coming. I have received this information, and so all the things that I did before, I said now I've got to move in this new direction because people will want to know how to handle their mindset. Because see, that's all the work that I have developed, and that is what healed my life. That is what transformed me. So I know that it works, but it came through all the information that came from everyone else, but also my higher self, because we all have that. So I could access this consciousness that I started doing in 1988, and that's what allowed me to develop this philosophy. And that philosophy says every single person born has worth and value. They can become prosperous, happy, successful. All they have to do is work through their limitations and their restrictions, and those are all in consciousness. There is nothing else other than that. I mean, we can make up certain things about why we might be a particular way. Maybe, I've talked about this. If we're a different race, if we're a different gender, if we different sexual, identity, all that. If we can't own that, we're putting a different kind of energy into our world, because then we won't accept anyone else either. And so I'm making a mission now, making it my mission to take my work much bigger. I knew that I had a really wonderful program that could change everything, or idea, a philosophy. But it still takes time for anyone to accept who they are and start doing that. But this is the time where everyone needs to become who they are. Everyone needs to step up to the plate, so to speak, and become happy, become who you're meant to be. And this is the work that I'm doing. When I told you, when I first started this, talking about it in this way in 2021, I knew people couldn't hear me and it didn't make much sense. But now we can see some of the things that are going on. And now I also have the results from the people that are in my program, who I'm just thrilled with to see what they're doing and what they will do. See, the world is only going to become magnificent if each individual decides to become magnificent themselves in their own way. That means their authentic self, what they were come to the world to do, and moving through all the old stuff. And we're going to have a little bit of difficulty with that over the next year or more, because it's also connected to the changes of our planets. When we start to put all of these things together, how humans operate, how humans develop, because it's all the same. Nobody does anything differently. It's all consciousness. There's nothing else. But we have to be willing to go within and look at ourselves and get rid of the old stuff that didn't work. That's what happens. And our society, our civilization does the same thing. But when we don't get there, then we have people who feel marginalized, who feel that they don't have anything, and then they have to do something violent, because what else can they do? Because we haven't given them the ability to love themselves, because we haven't loved ourselves. Because that's where it comes to. We're all one. When we can remember that, how important it is for us to become the best versions of ourselves, so we can be that example for others, anyone who might be in our experience, then we have a very different world. And I know this because I've seen it, and I've already done so much of it in my life, but the rest of my life is going to be doing more, because I don't want to see any more wars. And all I want to see are people who are loving who they are, much more understanding of everything, and prospering. Because see, it's all about the energy. When we have more abundance in individuals, you see, then we can do more. Because right now we've had this big split in that abundance, and so this is why people are suffering. And the way that we change that is by individually allowing ourselves to thrive, to become more, and stop feeling like that's some selfish act. It isn't. If you know that what you're doing is earning your money and creating your abundance and all of that, that it's going to be for the good of all, you're going to prosper so much more. And then our world becomes better, because now others have an example. They can see what you've done. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. And it's already a lot of fun. But we have to go through a little bit of sadness. We have to go through a little bit of anger and a lot of fear. I wrote the book on fear because, again, I knew this time would be here. And the channeling session that I'll include in this article It was done, I want you to understand, September of 2021, because it'll seem to you like it was done today, but it wasn't. I receive information precognitively. That's what has happened. And, for the longest time, I didn't talk about it, but it's too important now for me to hold back, because we come in and we're supposed to be unique, and we will develop things in different ways. This is what happened for me. And my goal is, again, to own my part in the second coming, because I want everyone else to do the same. And then we will create the new earth that we're moving to, because that's really what's happening. And if we get out of the fear and doubt of who we are, we can contribute and create that new world. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do that, and please share this with others. And check my link tree, because all of my events and programs are there. And I'm going to do doing channeling sessions and all of that, and love for you to attend.
I haven't done anything like this.
It's increased the confidence that I've had in myself.
Everything is better. I mean, every single aspect of my life. My income, the progress is just amazing. Like, you can see changes from week to week.
Introducing your last development program, Life Transformation for Success, the newest part of Roger Burnley's coaching series. In this 3-month online program, you will learn the mindset tools you need to dissolve the shame of your past, discover the gifts within you that make you important to the world, and get the confidence to rise above anything that stands between you and the life that you want.
Everything changed in my life. Everything. Every single thing.
It's time for you to reprogram your mind for success and become self-actualized. If you're ready to transform your life too, learn more at yourlastdevelopmentprogram.com today.